Hey guys, welcome back for another video. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be breaking down our predicted 2025 Yankees starting lineup, the 1 through 9, as well as their top 5 starting pitchers, what their rotation is going to look like. There's a lot of news going on preseason before the MLB season started. There's a lot of injuries going on, especially with the Yankees. This is not the team a lot of people envisioned that's going to be on the field opening day, but first things first, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments about this or anything else, please drop it below, and I'll make sure to respond to everyone. A lot of off-the-season news stuff going on, a lot of issues going on with the Yankees lineup and with the Yankees rotation. When I made this video a couple weeks ago, when I first sent out my first version of this Yankees predicted lineup for 2025, it's going to look completely different than what we're seeing right now. I had a lot of concerns back then. Those concerns have been elevated at this point. Obviously, the big news coming up, and what we have there on the screen, that's the predicted lineup on MLB.com right now of what product the Yankees are going to be putting on the field for opening day 2025. A lot of injuries. Obviously, Giancarlo Stanton, he goes down, he's injured. Could be months, could be the entire season. I said a couple weeks ago, in no way should you prepare for Stanton to be on this 2025 Yankees team. I said this guy's banged up every season. At most, you're going to get half of the season from this guy. He's been injury-plagued his entire career. Nothing new. I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for the guy. The guy had a $300 million contract. He has not completed a full season for the Yankees in a long time. He's always been banged up. Too many weights, my guy. You are banged up. He's basically made out of glass. So much so, he's a DH. The guy can't even run the bases without getting hurt. He's probably not even going to play this season. I have a lot of issues with this 1 through 9 lineup because there is a massive lack of power. Aaron Judge, top 3, top 2 player in all of Major League Baseball right now. This guy is, potentially one of the faces of baseball. He's the face of the Yankees, the largest brand in baseball, one of the largest brands on the face of the earth. But outside of him, there is massive question marks up and down this order, and obviously we had the unfortunate news. Gerritt Cole, he's going to have Tommy John surgery. He's getting a second opinion, but the writing's on the wall. He is your dominant guy. He's your ace. He's your guy that you need to carry you through the playoffs. Don't forget, this is a Yankees team that came in just behind the Dodgers for the champs last season. This is the runner-up to the World Series. The product you're going to see on this field, the Dodgers got better. They added to their team. They added to their lineup. They added to their starting rotation. For the Yankees to get past the Dodgers in 2025, they needed to make their lineup better. To me, they got worse at almost every single position, basically. This team is worse than the team that they put on the field last year. They did not get better. I personally didn't see why a lot of people were predicting them to win the East, potentially win the American League. I was not seeing it because this lineup, you don't have Soto. You lost a lot of pieces from last season. Soto's a top 2 player in Major League Baseball. You had him. You had Judge. Soto's gone. Where is the protection for Judge in this order? Looking at this lineup, in 18,000 games, the Yankees have never at any point had a catcher bat leadoff. That's what Aaron Boone... Guys, don't even get me started on Aaron Boone. Not an Aaron Boone fan. The guy's an awful coach. If the boss was still alive, if George Steinbrenner was still alive, he would have fired Boone 4 to 5 times by now. The mediocrity that this guy puts on the field, he has the worst lineups. He has the worst stats. He fields an awful product. He makes the worst decisions. Don't even get me started on the Cortez. Putting him in versus the Dodgers in the World Series made absolutely zero sense. This guy's paid to coach the biggest team, the biggest brand in baseball. He cannot get them over the hump. Then you have Hal Steinbrenner. Those guys are they are not their dad. They allow mediocrity. Boone fails you time and time again in the playoffs, and you keep extending him. And then you have Cashman. Cashman, outside of that team that you didn't even build, that 95 to 2000 run, Cashman really had nothing to do with that. This guy is an awful GM. You got to get rid of him. It's time to move on. Rip the Band-Aid off. You need fresh blood. You need aggressiveness in the offseason. and building up this farm system. One of the worst farm systems in baseball. One of the worst, to me, lineups outside of Judge in all of baseball. Definitely cannot compete on the field with the Dodgers. One, you have Austin Wells hitting leadoff. I don't know why you'd put this guy at the leadoff position. Your leadoff position is supposed to be someone who can see some pitches, draw walks, who can get on base, who can use some speed to create some things. You need a guy on base for when the power hitters come up because they need someone that they can drive in. Austin Wells is not that guy. What's he going to hit? 220, 230, one stolen base last season. He doesn't have pop. He doesn't have average. He doesn't draw walks. He doesn't show pitches. What is he doing for Judge? He's an easy out. So now when Judge comes up at 2, there's no one on base for your best hitter in your lineup. You have Judge. Judge is what he is, one of the best players in the world, one of the best players to ever play baseball. I feel bad for this guy because he's the lone bright spot here. He's going to do what he continues to do, but you need protection for him. You need guys on base in front of him. You need someone behind him who can offer him some type of protection so that he can see some pitches. Coming up behind him, Cody Bellinger. The big thing about Cody Bellinger is the guy's past his prime. He's not what he was back in 2018, 2017. Yes, he had a couple decent seasons with Chicago and stuff like that, but he doesn't have the power. He doesn't have the average. He's not going to provide protection for Judge. What you're hoping for is that he has a renewed season, gets back some of what he previously has shown, maybe hit to 270, 20 home runs. That would actually be really good. That would be a bright spot here in center field. You have Judge playing right field. You got to get old version of Cody Bellinger back, but you're not going to get 47 home runs, 300 average. That is way behind in the past. Just give me half of that, and I'd be happy. Coming in at 4, Paul Goldschmidt, one of the best players in baseball for the last decade. But the guy's 36, 37 years old. His past is prime. He did not have a good season last season. Now, 2 seasons ago, he had an MVP caliber season. Can he resurrect that and just get some of that back? Bad year last year, but at least he has some pop. He can maybe get you 20 to 5 home runs. You just need him to hit 260, 270, and you would take that. But the guy's getting older. Batting speed is starting to slow down. After that, Jazz Chisholm Jr. Personally, I would have him batting leadoff. Yes, he doesn't get a lot of walks, but at least he can hit you 260, 270. He can get on base. He has power to hit leadoff. He can get you a couple leadoff homers, but he has speed. This is a guy who can swap you, 20 to 35 stolen bases per season. That's who you need batting leadoff. He's an exciting player. He brings a lot of pomp with him. When he gets on base, it's exciting. He brings that. That's what you need for your leadoff hitter, not Austin Wells hitting 220 and hitting you 10 home runs per season with no stolen bases. You need Jazz batting leadoff. You need that protection at the top of the lineup, because that's really where you're going to get all of your production on this team. Because as we get deeper down this lineup, to me, it gets worse and worse. Outside of that, you have Dominguez. Obviously, this is someone, there's a lot of hype for this guy. If he lives up to expectations, this is a potential leadoff type hitter if they put him in that starting lineup. This lineup is so lacking in speed, batting average, power. They're going to have to put the young studs out there. And then your DH, Ben Rice, the DH for the New York Yankees, the DH spot, who on the Yankees should be hitting you 30 home runs. You have Ben Rice. How far things have fallen. After that, you have Anthony Volpe at shortstop, and then you have Oswaldo Cabrera at third. The Yankees, you don't have Stanton. You need to pick up whatever you can pick off. I don't care if you need to bring back Rizzo. You need someone that you can put at DH that has power. The DH position is not someone who can hit you 230 and 5 to 10 home runs. The DH for the Yankees is solely a power position. Bring back Rizzo. Bring back anyone. Sign anyone. You got to put someone in there. You need to make moves. You need to go after a bat. Nolan Arenado, you need to get someone who can provide pop and can provide average, because outside of Judge, everything else is a question mark. That is not a World Series caliber lineup right now. To me, this is not one of the best lineups in the American East, let alone the entire American League. What the Yankees did have going for them, though, was a very strong starting rotation. Fried, Stroman, Rodon, Warren, Schmidt, Garrett Cole, one of the best pitchers in baseball, Tommy John surgery. He's going to be out for a while. Going to probably miss all of this year. Going to miss a lot of next year. Might be back for maybe August or September next season. So That's a lot left up in the road right here. You lost your ace, your number one guy for the rotation. You actually still have a pretty decent rotation, but that's put a lot of pressure on Fried, who hasn't pitched for the Yankees. Stroman was the guy they were talking about, trading, cutting, and now you need to hold on to him. Carlos Rodon, you got to keep the injuries down. A lot of question marks here. Still not a bad starting rotation by any mean. Fried, $218 million. But when you had Gerritt Cole, you went from one of the best rotations in all of baseball now to where it's a good rotation, but pending another injury, it would completely dismantle the starting rotation. They got to get some depth there. They're going to have to add some pieces, and baseball's about to start, so that means the Yankees are going to be buyers at the trade deadline, but they don't even have the farm system to go shopping. They're in a really tough position right now. I blame the owners. I blame Aaron Boone, and I blame Cashman. They got to all go. The owners aren't going anywhere, so that leaves Boone. You got to get fired, Cashman. You got to get fired. But as of right now, the Yankees, to me, sit at a 500 to just above 500 team, maybe I'd say 80 to 85 wins. They're too banged up unless we get a year where Bellinger and Goldschmidt can resurrect the power and the production that they've shown in previous seasons. If they can do that, they are veteran players. It's always possible. They can save the Yankee season. They are not a World Series caliber team, no matter how those guys play, but they are still capable of making the playoffs if those guys go back to form. But that rotation is going to have to stay healthy. Now, there's zero room for error. Guys, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Like I said before, if you have any comments, please drop them below, and I will respond to everyone. Thank you.